Hey girls, so today I am at Colossians 1, and if you will forgive me, this video is going to be longer than a minute. I've kind of decided to do away with the 1 minute limitation. On the days when I can do a 1 minute video, I will do it, but on the days when I can't, I'm just gonna allow myself that flexibility because after all, it's God's word. There's so much to say, so much to unpack, and it's this beautiful, amazing thing. Why would I want to put myself through a 1 minute limitation, right? Today I'm looking at Colossians 1 and specifically at verses 3 to 5. Colossians is a letter that Paul had written to the church in Colossae. And I'm going to share verses 3 to 5 somewhere in the comments or at the end of this video. But basically what Paul was saying in verses 3 to 5 was he was giving thanks to God for the church, the group of people in Colossae. And he was saying that, we have heard of your faith and we have heard of your love. And we are so grateful to God for that. And we know that the only reason why you have this faith and this love is because you have this confident hope of what God has reserved for you in heaven. And Paul was saying basically that the people knew that they had an inheritance in heaven. They knew that God had reserved for them a promise, a space, an inheritance in eternity. And I was looking at the word hope that Paul uses in verse 5. And in my Bible study, it tells me that the word hope here in the Greek is the word elpis, and it means a confident expectation or anticipation. My Bible study was very clear in telling me that the word does not mean wishful thinking, but instead it means a confident expectation or an anticipation. So Paul was saying here that the people knew. They were confident. They had this confident expectation. They had this anticipation that was real of the inheritance that God had reserved for them in heaven. And I think that is the hope that we all have as Christians. It was just a reminder for me again. We don't live with a view of a life that spans only, the 70, 80, 90 years or however many years that God would grant us here in this lifetime. But our view and our perspective of our life and existence extends far more beyond our timeline here on earth. Our existence spans into eternity. And the things that God has reserved for us in heaven is not just, I think, a place where everything is perfect. I think it's so much more than just a place where everything is perfect, but the inheritance that we have as God's people is really His presence. That this is the expectation that we have, that there will come a day where we will live side by side with God, face to face with God, in His presence, in the light of who He is, forever and ever. It's the sweetest and the most beautiful thing that we could hope for as God's children, to be in His presence for an eternity.